You see, in Brooklyn, money changes hands all night long. It's not the kind that you can deposit in a bank. The point is, you never know. In the meantime, me, I just tend bar.
It was the first chapter of a novel that never came together. So then I converted it to a short story, published the short story, and then I was approached by people with Turner Entertainment, Mike LaRocca particularly.
There was this one little script. I read it, and immediately I knew this is a story that is rather complete and complex.
This was a film that was always about the integrity of the original vision, which was to make a film about damaged people trying to repair their lives.
Cousin Marv, thanks for the drink, huh?
The Drop is the story of Bob, who's played by Tom Hardy, who is just a guy, works in a bar. And he used to be part of petty crime, very low-level gangster life. And things changed, times changed, and you had to be a different kind of person in order to exist successfully in that world. And he opted out.
I was fascinated by the idea of loneliness. So I really started from the idea of one guy who was exceptionally lonely. Bob has made a decision that he is going to close himself off from humanity, that he is going to close himself off from feeling, that he is never going to engage the world. And the film opens really on the day he engages the world again through this puppy. It's when he finds the dog that it begins to open something up in him.
By taking that dog into his life, he opens up a series of complications involving his own past, the past of the characters around him. Bob's a guy with a code and a very specific way to live. And if you violate that code, he will take action.
Eric is the owner of Bob's dog. We realized that there's something more going on than just the dog, and so the mystery is intensifying. You can't come walking into people's lives and expect
Listen. Just get my money, 10 a.m. your place, all right?
It's not as much a man rescuing a dog as a dog rescuing a man.
But then it very much becomes a story about rescuing you from the animal that's inside of you.
You're still in the life.
Me?
Yeah.
No. No, I just tend to bar.
Don't think about it, just feel it.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know whose money you're jacking here?
Fill the bear!
You don't see anything? Nah, you know, that's this neighborhood.
So I heard that Cousin Marv doesn't own the bar. Some hard guys too. You're not a hard guy.
Marv, he thought he was a tough guy. So me and crew rolls into town and, you know, we flinched, that's it.
You know this guy?
No.
Find my Fanya.
All these characters are lonely characters. They're all very vulnerable. They need other people to feel less lonely.
And then this idea of people chasing something that's already in the rearview mirror. They're trying to get back to a time period in their life that is already gone.
When I walked into a place people sat up straight, they noticed. I was respected. I was feared. And that meant something.
This movie, it's very much about finding a way back into hope and believe and seeing the possibility in life again.
And nobody will ever hurt you again, okay?
You get fate and destiny playing around, forces hitting you in the back and the front. In the meantime, you have to stay steady. It's a hard path to walk.
Background action and action!
Are you doing something desperate? Are you doing something that we can't clean up this time?
Well, she's gonna hide behind someone, and I want you guys to travel in and expose her.
There are places in my neighborhood, money changes hands all night long, and nobody ever sees it coming.
I read it and I was like, wow, I love this. It was extremely well written.
They call it a drop bar.
We bought Animal Rescue when it was a short story.
A bar the bosses choose randomly each night to be the safe for an entire city.
It was a story that Dennis had written as part of an anthology. So we just made a deal, and about a year later, we had a script.
All your money in the bag.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know whose money you're jacking here?
Fill the bear!
You don't see anything? Nah, you know, that's this neighborhood, right?
Cut.
Cut!
Yo, gay guy, whatever.
I think that Roscoe was really drawn to the themes of the movie.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done.
The fact that he was both sophisticated and subtle, we felt was a real benefit.
Mikhail was very successful in getting us cast. We got Tom, we got everybody very, very quickly once Mikhail came on board the project.
Everybody has a path.
Tom really brings a depth to it and an understanding of Bob as a character that's phenomenal.
Picture that.
He's one of the best actors of his generation.
No, they're not my people. I'm not them.
You're not a hard guy.
Numi Rapace plays Nadia. Numi invests a lot. She is like day in, day out, busy with her character.
I went to Brussels and I met with Mikhail. I told him what I thought about Nadia, and he was just like, yeah, I agree with you. And so it kind of started from that.
Cousin Marv, thanks for the drink, huh?
Then we got, of course, James Gandolfini.
Jimmy Gandolfini, as soon as he was cast, I actually wrote more lines.
I had something once.
He's from New Jersey. You know, he knows New York. He knows how to talk that way.
Take it easy, take it easy. You're right, I'm sorry.
And he was sweet spot.
Been in the joint a couple times. He did a dirty day in the Kugelhaus, if I recall.
I couldn't have dreamed a better cousin Mark.
When I walked into a place people sat up, I was respected. I was feared. Hey, come in peace.
What's that, Civil War?
And Matthias, you know, I know him from Bullhead. He's a friend. It's always great to work with him.
Brooklyn will definitely be part of the atmosphere and defining the character of the film.
Mikhail has a very specific visual language that he likes to use.
A bit more dirty, more organic, because Brooklyn is not like fancy.
What are you doing? Get in the car.
Mikhail mostly sets the stage and tells me kind of what he wants to feel, you know, with the characters. And Tom's very handsome, of course, and you don't want him to look like a movie star. You want to feel like he's just some guy in Gravesend.
Sir, you cannot have a dog in here.
From the filmmakers to the designers, everybody's goal is to make it the best film possible.
I hope the audience will go out and say, like, that was a good story. I want to watch it again.
He's not gonna go away.
It's going to be a thrilling, emotional movie that will surprise them.
People like me come along when you're not looking. All right, gentlemen, these are in the house. Cousin Marv, thanks for the drink, huh?
Originally, the story had been set in Boston, but there are a lot of films set in Boston in which there are bars and guns. So everybody just said, you know what, can we go someplace else with it? We looked into a couple locations, but Brooklyn was the one that spoke to all of us.
With the location hunting, I saw Brooklyn from bar to bar to bar. I've never seen so many bars in my life.
A drop bar is where all the city's dirty money from all the underhanded things, from prostitution to drugs to illegal betting, the gang bosses congregate all the money and keep it there until they're ready to move it out.
I had heard something about it years ago, so I just ran with it.
Yeah, you hand over the drum.
Which night?
Super Bowl.
It's a dark fairy tale, but it very much could begin once upon a time in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn isn't something you see a lot. We thought, what a better place to make a movie than Brooklyn.
Somebody robbed my bar.
Don't want to stereotype, but yeah, the mob was based in downtown Brooklyn. Then it was Bensonhurst, the neighborhood across. It was like that at one stage, but that's not Brooklyn. It's a super place to live.
The people that come into this bar have been here for 15 to 16 years. You have your regulars that sit at the exact same place every day.
It is an extended family atmosphere. They would say, I need a favor. And they go, is the guy from the neighborhood? And that makes a big difference. Now, all of a sudden, we're this hotspot community.
All right, quiet please, we're rolling.
If you walk the streets of Brooklyn today,
How you doing?
you hear so many different influences, and I think that that's accurately reflected in the movie, and we kind of wanted it.
Cheers.
Salute.
There's absolutely the Brooklyn attitude and vibe, and that sort of comes in both in terms of the accents of the characters and just the overall spirit of the movie.
She can't pay her tab tonight. She don't come back in here until she does.
But she can't afford it, you know?
I'm gonna start crying now.
Brooklyn is very filmic.
Without Brooklyn, the movie would have looked in a visual way differently. And before the production starts, we always like to look at some painters, because Painters spend time in analyzing and research the colors and the textures of the place where they start painting. We spend a lot of time looking at paintings by George Bellows, who's this great Brooklyn painter. And we saw a beautiful color palette that I start to recognize still today in Brooklyn.
We looked at his paintings and used that as a reference and general inspiration in terms of how you would put contrast in a scene. Also lighting-wise, I play with oranges and blues, which Bellows would use in his night paintings.
It's the blue, it's a certain red, it's a certain light.
We also use a classic painting technique to have a darker background, and whatever is inside the set will automatically pop out more.
I love being out in real locations, because it just brings so much more into it. And you can just go in there and eat and breathe and drink in the atmosphere and the environment.
I think the city definitely becomes a character in the film. It's gritty, its energy is alive, it feels like it's its own kind of animal.
If you walk the streets of Brooklyn today, there's a real immigrant vibe from many different cultures, and that's accurately reflected in the movie.
It's a big place. It's a place that's real, that's extremely energetic, and it's palpable. And I don't think it's been captured with the specificity that it is captured in this film.
Hey, Mark. Action. 10 years prior to the film beginning, Bob has made a decision that he's going to close himself off from humanity, that he's going to close himself off from feeling, that he is never going to engage the world. And the film opens really on the day he engages the world again through this puppy. It's when he finds the dog that he begins to open something up in him.
Little by little, the puppy chips away at him, and he eventually agrees to take him.
That is a huge responsibility, right?
What's a dog?
Very often we want to save an animal because we need to feel good about something.
Somehow caring for this animal and loving him and having him love him back is the beginning of his transformation.
Sit. Sit. No, that's standing.
Our filmmaker felt very strongly that there was a thematic connection between a breed that was so traditionally misunderstood.
This isn't a boxer, it's a pit bull.
That's a dangerous dog.
And our main character, who is both enigmatic and hugely misunderstood.
He's nothing but sweet.
You just can't even stand to be around them without, smushing them and kissing them.
It's so cute, it's so adorable. Everybody loves it. Tom is totally overwhelmed by it. Numi is totally attached to it. How can you not love the dog?
The first day of shooting, Tom spent probably about half hour with T playing with them.
Go get it. Go on, you go get that.
We do worry about the size changing, so we're actually using 3 different puppies. T is 13 weeks, the other puppy is 3 weeks younger than him, and the last week of filming we have to go back to an 8-week-old.
You can't predict what the dog is gonna do, so you just have to go with whatever he does. And it's fun, I like that.
I think the effect of the dog in the film is going to be very surprising.
When I watch TV, he sleeps on my leg.
Really?
Out.
When we save a dog, we save ourselves.
Are you doing something desperate? Something that maybe we can't clean up this time?
I'd never met him before, and I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to work with him. He was a brilliant artist, and he had a very high standard at which he wanted to achieve, and he wanted to bring as much as he possibly could to the table.
Just let me take care of it, all right?
I couldn't have dreamed of a better cousin, Mark. The moment I knew he was cast, I went in and gave him extra lines, because now I know somebody can handle that line.
I know what a Super Bowl drop bar's gonna be. So you wanna hit him back for Bri? You hit him back for $1 million.
I was surprised to see James Gandolfini, a guy with such a track record, sitting there in front of me.
Jim grounds the movie in a reality and a specificity to Brooklyn.
Why would you tell that cop about to watch?
I don't know.
He's a very gifted actor, and the weakness in Marv was an interesting aspect of the character that we knew he would provide real nuance and layers to that character.
He's also incredibly funny as well, self-effacing, very, very humble, and he had a tremendous range of vulnerability to ferocious violence. So he was the full package.
He came with some ideas and very professional, very focused, and very emotional as well.
You need to see this, Marv.
I don't need to do anything.
I think he's a fantastic actor.
He's very dedicated and very specific, but a lot of fun to work with.
There's something electric about the man. It's inspiring.
He's phenomenal, and he's great. He's got great ad-libs. He's got the attitude. He knows Marv inside and out.
It was very clear that you were working with somebody who's one of a kind.
You ever go around to the front of the bar and take a look at the sign? That's my name.
Yeah, you've been playing that flute for a long time now.
Well, I'm not the guy that wasted his entire life waiting for it to start.